Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining me. Welcome to another video. I'm really excited about this video because today I'm going to show you how to make a rosemary and clove leave-in conditioning cream. So we are going to take our leave-in conditioners to another level because this conditioner now is going to help us to condition our hair, moisturize our hair, and it'll also stimulate hair growth. So our first ingredient is going to be rosemary, which I've talked about quite a lot on this channel. You know I love rosemary. It's one of my favorite ingredients. Not only can it stimulate growth, but it can also help hair to grow back in bald patches. This has been shown through science to be just as effective as minoxidil. I did a feature video talking more about rosemary and how it can benefit the hair. So I'll leave a link to that video in the description box below so that you can watch it. In addition to stimulating growth, rosemary also has soothing properties. It's got anti-inflammatory properties, so it's really good if you've got a dry, irritated scalp. Our next ingredient is another favorite of mine, and we are using cloves. So cloves are amazing when it comes to hair growth because they stimulate growth like crazy. In fact, if you use cloves on their own, then you are guaranteed to get really good hair growth, as well as rosemary. But cloves, they can help to stimulate the scalp circulation, and we know that is essential for hair growth, and it can also help hair to grow back in bald patches. Cloves are well known to be antibacterial, antifungal, and therefore they can help to keep the scalp nice and clean and healthy. And the next we're going to use extra virgin olive oil. I love this for my hair because it's really softening, it's really good for conditioning, and olive oil is really penetrating, so it can help to absorb all those nutrients from the herbs and then pass them on to the hair follicles. But you can use any other penetrating oil of your choice. And then of course we need a leave-in conditioner. So this is the one that I use quite often. I use others, and this is not the one that you have to use. You can use any that you have. Any will work, I promise you. So the process is quite simple, but you need to watch the whole video to see exactly what I'm doing. So first of all, I'm adding the leaves of the one rosemary sprig. That's all we need. One rosemary sprig, and I'm taking the leaves and I'm putting them into the blending jug. And then I'm going to add just 1 teaspoon of cloves. So we're not adding a huge amount, just 1 teaspoon, that's enough. These herbs are really potent and powerful, so you actually don't need to use a lot. And then I'm going to add just 1/4 cup of oil. That's all we need. And now, once I've put everything into the blending jug, I call it a jug, but it's probably a bottle, isn't it? Anyway, once I've put everything into the blender, I'm going to blend everything really well. And you do want to take your time to blend this because that's going to help to release all the essential oils from your cloves, from the rosemary, and infuse them into the oil. So blend for at least a minute. I blended mine for about 2 minutes because I really wanted to break down the cloves and the rosemary and help with the infusion process. So once I've blended it, I've just transferred it into this little glass bowl, and then I'm going to put that bowl inside a pan of boiling water, and that's because I want to warm everything up, and that really helps to activate the herbs and the spices and help them to release all the good things into the oil. So that really helps with the infusion. And it'll just speed up the process. So you'll notice that it looks quite thick, but as it warms up, it will loosen up a bit. And what I recommend is that from time to time, you just stir it, just to help mix everything together and get all the good things from the herbs into the oil. So you'll know it's ready once the rosemary has changed color. So from that dark green to this more olive green, then it's time to take it off the hob and allow it to cool down and infuse. So you do need to leave it to cool down completely. That will help the infusion process. What happens is that as it's warming up, the herbs and spices absorb the oil, and as it's cooling down, they release the oil, and that's exactly what you want. So now it's cooled down. Look at that. The oil it's changed color. It's got the rosemary and the cloves, and I can't describe just how wonderful it smells. It smells so aromatic, and it's absolutely beautiful. So we are nearly there. Now it's time to strain the herbs and just extract the oil. So I'm just going to do it straight into the bowl, the mixing bowl, where I'm going to mix everything rather than do it separately. So as you can see, I'm just putting it into the end of a pair of tights, and then I'm just going to squeeze and get all that oil out. You can use anything like a cheesecloth if you want. I don't recommend using a strainer for this because you want to extract as much of the oils, and at this point in time the herbs and the spices might still be holding on to some of the oil, so you need to squeeze it really hard and get all the goodness out of the herbs and into the bowl. And now it's time to add the leave-in cream. So I'm just adding my leave-in cream into the bowl, and I'm adding, it turned out to be about 5 tablespoons, and that's probably a good proportion for this. You don't want to add too much of the leave-in cream because then it basically dilutes the oils that you're adding in there. So if you have a full tub, for example, then you might want to just take some out and then store it separately. Otherwise, it's going to be so diluted and you're not going to get the full benefits. So once I've done that, I'm just going to take my mixer and I'm just going to mix this. This is probably my favorite part of this process. I love using the mixer. It's just so soothing. So I'm going to mix this really, really well. That'll help with emulsification and make sure that it doesn't separate, and it'll make sure that the oil and the cream are thoroughly mixed. So I mixed mine for about maybe 5-10 minutes, and that's what I'd recommend. So you don't have to use a mixer like I did. You can even just use a blender, a handheld blender, or put it back into the blender if you need to. But I love using a mixer. It's just so beautiful to watch. So here we are. Here is a beautiful cream, and look at that, so creamy, and it's beautifully mixed. There's no separation whatsoever, and it's very lightweight, and it's going to be amazing, very easy to apply to the hair. So I could have put it back in the tub, I took the cream out of, but I had this other little tub and I decided to put it into that one just because it was a small amount. But you don't have to. You can put it straight back into the other tub and then just mix it up really well because there might be some leave-in cream left over. So if you're wondering how to store this, this is going to be the simplest thing ever because you don't need to put this in the fridge. So that leave-in cream that we used, it's got preservative in there, and we used an oil. Even though we used fresh rosemary oil, the fact that we cooked it, thoroughly until it had changed color, it means that now that's going to extend the shelf life of the rosemary. So it's not going to go off in a week or two. This will actually last you a month. But I would still advise that you don't make a huge batch. Just make enough for about 2 to 3 weeks or even 4 weeks a month, and that should be good. So the way I'm using it now, as you can see, my growth is there, and I do need to give that growth extra care. It can get a little bit dry, particularly now that the weather is warmer. So normally I follow either the LCO method or the LO method, sometimes just the liquid and the butter. But this actually cuts down a couple of steps. So instead of doing a liquid followed by a cream followed by an oil, we've actually mixed the cream and the oil together. So now I literally just spray my growth spray. This is one of my DIYs. I'll put a link to the one that I'm using in the description box below. And then I'm going to apply the cream. So mainly focusing on the new growth because that's the hair that's most exposed. But I also do apply some to the actual braids because my hair is in the braids. So I only apply it where my hair would be. So I'm not just going to, run the cream down down the whole braid. Is just where the hair is. So this helps to moisturize the hair and condition that hair as well. We should not neglect our hair when we've got a protective style. So this is going to add that moisture, it's going to condition, and because now we've added that bit of oil, it's going to help to seal in the moisture. So this is actually a really good way of using, one or two products to, basically look after your hair, but you've added a few things to enrich in it and basically take it to another level. I know some of my subscribers may struggle to use butters because their hair is very fine or it's very thin. So this is a really good way to incorporate oils into your routine, because if you mix it with something like a leave-in conditioning cream, then it's going to be lightweight and it's not going to weigh your hair down. Obviously use a small amount, and you just listen to your hair. If your hair can tolerate more, then you go for it. If it needs less, then you just apply less. But this is amazing. I think it's an amazing way to benefit from all these wonderful herbs and spices, particularly if you don't necessarily like to use just the teas. You can use the teas, but now you can also use the oils, but in different ways. I know I've talked about things like hot oil treatments and masks and just scalp oils, scalp massages. But now we have another way to use our beautiful oils. So if you're worried whether or not this is just going to sit on your hair, no, it's not. Look at that, beautifully absorbed, and my hair feels so moisturized, conditioned, so soft and just lovely, and it smells beautiful. So I know some of you may be wondering whether or not I'll still be using my oil, and the answer is yes. So I do still do scalp massages, and now and again I will use one of my DIYs to do scalp massages with. So at the moment my favorite is my basil and mint. Sometimes I use the rosemary and mint. Those are the ones that I'm using at the moment because those are the ones I made recently and I just want to use them up. But you can use any of the oils to do your scalp massages. If you want to know how I do my scalp massages to stimulate growth, then there's a link in the description box below, so you can watch that video after this one. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you found that useful. If you try, do come back and let me know. Before I go, I want to give my subscribers a massive, massive thank you, because your love and support means the world to me. And I really do appreciate it. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. And also thank you to everybody who comments, who gives the video a thumbs up, who shares the videos. Again, it's really appreciated, and I want you to know that. If you've not yet subscribed to the channel, then please subscribe and also give the video a thumbs up. And I'd also appreciate it if you click the notification bell, because then that means you'll never miss a video of mine. So until next time, my lovelies, you take care of yourselves and take care of your loved ones. Bye for now.